You know what I love about you? The fact that you don't just wish. You explore. You found this video because you want to hike, and you want to know what to expect. So, that's what this video is going to do. It's easy to get discouraged when you're starting something new. So this video is going to give you 5 things that I wish I had known before I started hiking. All 5 of these things will focus on your ability to make a plan so that you can get out there and hike. Because if you get stressed out, you might just never get out there and try it. Before we get into the first thing I wish I had known, I want you to do me a huge favor and subscribe to this channel or click the notification bell. Thank you. Number 5, pick a hike that is close to your current location. And by close, I mean within 30 minutes. If you pick a hike that's really far away, it becomes a whole event, and you're more likely to get stressed out and maybe not want to do it or find something else that you'd rather do. So pick something local. And by local, I mean something that won't stop you from trying. So number 5 is pick something close to you. Number 4 is pick a hike that's under 5 miles, and that's if you're relatively active. If you're not super active, that doesn't mean you shouldn't hike. It means that you should pick a hike that's even less than that. I would suggest under 1 mile. Now, you may feel like, is that even really a hike? And it absolutely is. No matter what you're doing, the point is to get out there, to see if you love it, and to increase it next time. So, if you're very active, make sure it's under 5 miles. If you're not so active, make sure it's under 1 mile. And don't feel discouraged if that number is even smaller than that. Number 3, make sure that wherever you're going, parking is easy. This sounds completely bizarre and arbitrary, but I know a lot of people will get to a hiking trail and it's not easy or it's completely packed and they'll just turn around, won't hike that day. So make sure that you're going somewhere where there's going to be enough parking or easy parking, because it's a really terrible feeling when you make a full plan and you get there and there's no place to park or you have to park a mile away. So make sure that the parking is going to be easy for you. Number 2 is going to require a little bit of an explanation. You see, there's 2 measurements in any hike: your horizontal distance and your vertical distance. Most people just think about the horizontal distance. I'm going to hike 2 miles today. I'm going to hike 7 miles round trip. But with hiking, the measurement of height that you gain and lose is called vertical gain or vertical loss. And that number may be even more important than your distance. So you want to pick a vertical gain in your first hike that is minimal. If you're a really active person, I would suggest picking something under 500 feet of vertical gain. If you're not a really active person, I would consider doing either a flat hike or something with less than 100 feet of vertical gain. Now that sounds like a very small amount, but think about it in terms of flights of stairs. If you're talking about 100 feet of vertical gain, you're talking about 10 stories of a building. Seems a little bit more extreme now, right? And if you're talking about 500, you're talking about 50 stories in a building. So it adds up really fast. Even though it can be spread out over a long period of time, vertical gain is important to pay attention to. So on your first hike, if you are very active, go under 500 feet of vertical gain and loss. And if you are not so active, go under 100 feet of vertical gain or loss. And I would suggest maybe even start without any. Just do a path through the woods that doesn't elevate a lot. And my number 1 tip is make sure that there's some sort of payoff. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to climb to the top of Mount Everest and get that view at the top of the world, but it does mean you need to be climbing or hiking or walking towards something that you're looking forward to. That can be the summit of a hill. That could be a really beautiful remote lake or a waterfall. It doesn't really matter. It could simply be going to see a tourist attraction. For instance, you could go to the Coastal Botanical Gardens in Maine and see the trolls. Now, that's a really flat hike, but it is a hike, and it's a great place to start. So why are these tips important and why do I wish that I had known them? Well, you see, it is super important that you don't let your plan get in the way of going hiking and just trying it. And these tips will make it so that it's easier. It's not as much pressure on you. You want to make sure that it's relatively easy to get there, that it's not too overwhelming of a hike, that you can park safely, and that you have something to look forward to. If you've got all those things lined up, you're much more likely to try hiking. And if you try hiking, I can almost guarantee you're going to like it. Now, if you try hiking and it's stressful, it's too long, it doesn't have a payoff, the weather sucks, you're probably not going to want to do it again. So my goal with this video is to make sure that you're setting yourself up for success so that you can walk yourself through a good hiking plan and make sure that you're not setting yourself up for failure because of stress. You just want to get out there and see if you like it. So keep these 5 tips in mind, and I bet you're gonna love it. All right, the video was a little bit short this week. Next week's video, I'm planning on doing a much longer deep dive into the 48 4,000 footers in New Hampshire. Tell me in the comments below if you're interested in hearing about that, or if you like this type of content that's a lot shorter. As always, I really appreciate that you're watching these videos, and I can't wait to see you next week.